We're going to take the basic skills we've just learned to recreate this social media post. It's just a simple image. There are 2 text boxes here and a colored background. So this is what we're going to be creating right now. So I'm going to open up a new document. Just go to File, New, and just do the same old 1080 by 1080 pixels we've been doing in prior projects. So here we have our canvas. And since we have, if I go back here to the completed version, we have this photo in a frame in a particular size. And we have this nice generous margin around it, which really gives it some nice breathing room. It's just a specific kind of design layout and style that looks really nice and clean. So because this has a particular size, and I would like to use frames instead of just dragging my photo in at a high resolution and sizing it up, I'm going to bring in the photo using frames this time. So let's do that. Let's get our frame tool. And let's do about kind of the same size you saw before. I want to have kind of equal, generous margins around. And I want to leave a little extra space to kind of show a little bit of that background color throughout. Of course, I can take the Move tool and position this any way I like. When I'm happy, I can drag my photo right in. Just drag it, and you do not have to use this photo. This is the photo I use from pexels.com by Marcelo Chagas. And you can find that photo. You can use another photo. Doesn't really matter. You don't have to use the same one. I actually like it when you use different photos than what I have. But if you want to follow along, now that I have it in the frame, I'm going to click twice, and I'm able to kind of crop it a little bit better. I have the Move tool selected, so I have my transform controls that I can kind of get the right cropping for her. And I'd like to show off a little bit of that dress too, because I think I want to bring in a little bit of the green in the dress. So just trying to find the right position. I'm going to press enter when I'm happy and click off. So I want to create a colored background. So by default, I have this locked background layer, and I can unlock it and just use that, or I can create a new layer and use the rectangle tool and just create kind of a background color. So whatever you want to use, you can have a background, you can toggle it off, delete it, or even just use that background and change the color of the background. Or you could do what I did and just bring in a rectangle tool to be your background layer. It doesn't really matter, however you want to do it. So now that I've created and used a rectangle tool, I have the ability to easily change the color. I'm going to go over here to the special area where I can get my hue cube out, and I can select any color. So any of these colors are going to work okay, but what I like to do is find inspiration from the photos themselves. So I'm just going to go out here, get that eyedropper tool. It's going to automatically kind of load for you. And we can select different colors and then click OK to see what we think works well. So what I'd like to do is we could bring out the green like that. And so we're kind of playing off the green in her shirt. We can also play off of let me go ahead and get my color back here, off kind of some of her skin tones as well. So kind of some medium, not highlight, not shadow, but just something kind of in the middle. And it just feels like the photo and the background are kind of more together as one unit, because you have a lot of the skin color and you're kind of bringing that out in the background. You could do the green as well, whatever makes you feel better. And let's bring in some typography. So let's just do this really generic, simple, short headline. So let's go ahead and make sure we don't have anything selected. Let's get our type tool. Let's click just down here. Just click once. We're not going to be making a paragraph box, just a simple headline. So let's do live life to the, and let's put fullest on its own layer so we can make that a little bit bigger and have some contrast between our lines of type. So live life to the, and let's just make a duplicate of this. Hold down Option or Alt and drag. Live life to the fullest. Let's type in fullest. And let's make this one a little bit bigger. And just kind of arrange this. What I like to do sometimes when I have this kind of specific design style where I have these nice generous margins and nice clean lines, what I also like to do is push the boundary of the typography a little bit, maybe push it outside the box. So you're kind of creating this nice, interesting tension in the design. So now what I want to do is let's do some all caps here. Let's definitely do it to this larger one. I want to try to differentiate these two different lines of type so they just read really well together, and there's contrast and there's interesting things happening between the two lines of type. So let's go to our properties panel, and sometimes you have to scroll down to find the all caps option. So all caps for that, and let's also do all caps for this one as well. We could find other ways to add contrast here by maybe changing the weight of the live life to the fullest or live life to the. That's not as important or interesting as fullest, like that's our big word of the headline. So let's maybe lighten the font weight here. So let's double click this, highlight it, and let's go to properties. We have to go right back up here, and let's do maybe a semi-bold perhaps. Get my move tool, just kind of click off, and there we go. So we can arrange these, and I kind of like, I mean, we could do this perfect left alignment, but you know, it's always a little interesting to kind of go down and to the right. Just kind of reads really nicely. And something that can make it a little elegant is adding some spacing between the characters or changing our tracking. So right now this is default at, let's see what this is. This is 0 right over here in our properties panel. Let's maybe make that 200. And make this a little bit smaller. This adds a little spacing and interesting looks to that. So I'm going to press enter here, and let's say I want to nudge it right over to the edge here. I can take my arrow keys on my keyboard to just do some slight nudging of any layer. So if I want to kind of bring that E over and I don't feel like having to move it over with my mouse, I can just do my little right arrow key and it just nudges it just a little bit. That's great for making little minor adjustments. It's using those arrow keys on your keyboard, just a little trick. And kind of the popular thing to do is kind of bringing these really big words and headlines to the very edge of the document. It's just a style thing that's popular these days. You do not have to do that. I've just noticed a lot with social media posts. I did a design trends for 2021 on social media posts, which you can watch that lesson if you're a part of this course at the end of the class. And we do some really cool trend work with social media posts, like using outlined typography instead of the solid fill typography that's been kind of really popular. And so we put together really cool projects toward the end of the course. So we have our typography at the very top of the layering system. If we had these at the bottom, below the background, you would not see them, but we can drag these on the very top so that they are on the top. We have a couple layers. We have the type layers. We have a photo here within a frame. If you ever want to remove a photo from a frame, so this isn't a frame, we don't want the frame, we just want the full photo unframed. Click on this little thumbnail, right click it, remove frame from layer. So it's going to remove the frame, it's going to make it a full photo again. Or you can go back into your history panel, go back one step to get it back to how you had it. So to kind of use that history panel if you want to check out how something looks. And if you don't like it, you can go back in your history one step and you don't have to sit there and reframe it all over again if you didn't like how it looked. So now I can unlock that and make it any other color that I'd like to make it. If I want to tweak the color, maybe do the green. Super, super simple arrangement of layers. We used frames, but you don't have to use frames to bring in photos all the time. They just really help with getting them into a predetermined size. So there we go. I really hope these lessons that I redid, I reworked, I refilmed, I wanted to slow everything down a little bit because I feel like with my prior lessons, I went a little fast and I heard your feedback and I wanted to redo these lessons to make sure we just slowed down and really understood the basic interface so that you can feel confident moving on to some more intermediate tasks. We're going to be doing some photo editing, or we're going to be working with some really popular tools like the Liquify tool and going to be removing objects, cutting out people so we can really work with that layering system and put people and text and really wrap them all together and to create some really cool stuff. So I can't wait to see you in the next section.